himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race 2.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the JPB Season 3 Clio Cup Round 9 from mid-Ohio. I am James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Zach Sweeney, a.k.a. Sween Dog, a.k.a. Sween Puppy, here this evening as we tackle this 12-quarter short track of 2.68 kilometers here tonight as well. And what action we are hoping to bring for you. Zach, welcome into the booth, dear sir. How are you?
Doing well once again. Probably the only good thing about a Monday is the Clio Cup, I suppose. And yeah, what a great way to cap off, well, to come into the evening and cap off what is usually quite a miserable day. But the Clio's far from miserable. Mid-Ohio, far from a miserable circuit as well. It's a lot of fun. It's not a circuit I've commentated on a million of times, but it is one that I enjoy every single time I come here. And I think these Clios, of course, we're towards the back end of the season now, provided we don't have to keep on adding rounds at the end of it. Yeah, should be good. The stakes are high in the championship.
Yeah, there is a few more rounds to go, guys, as well. This is technically round 9. Then we've got round 10, which will be next week, of course. And then after that, we will have the reruns of Phillip Island and Zolder. It's been a bit of a dodgy season with the sessions here this season as well, but Phillip Island and Zolder will go on to the end after Sebring next week, which will be the club circuit, of course. So we'll have 4 more rounds, including this one, ready to go here once more. We're coming just towards the end of practice before we get into qualifying. Bit light on the grid this evening as well. 17 cars on track, and I'm going to provide sure these 17 drivers will provide epic action here, Zach, for us once more. We've got the likes of Newmont, Dalmont, McHutchinson, Carl Jacklett and Carl Hardy, and we've got Roger Morton, David Ayres, Paul Godden and Edward Parfitt. So we've got the main protagonists of both championships here on track as well. So it's looking good. We should be all right for racing as it is, with them 4 main people in each class here.
Yeah, basically, you know, we haven't lost any big names from the championship, so there is still a lot to play for, and you know, you don't necessarily need a big grid to have good racing. You know, there is quality and there is quantity. Usually we've got both. Unfortunately, we only have quality today. You know, just because we're lacking a little bit in quantity doesn't mean we don't have quality as well, because we definitely do. Those names on there are some of the, you know, the recognisable names. I mean, to be fair, so is everyone. But you look there, no one really looks out of place. No one would look out of place fighting at the front. So I think we are going to have a lot of people in contention, a lot of people out there to give us some good racing, and Carl Jacklett kicking things off in qualifying with a pretty nice drift, running his way into turn number 2. But yeah, all in all, I still think we're going to have some good racing. Again, there is still a decent chunk of cars. I mean, we say a lack of quantity based on the Clio standards. You know, 17 cars is still a fairly decent amount. obviously, yeah, it is split between two classes and things, but they still race on the same track together. They still start on the same grid, so there isn't any, divergence between the two classes. They are all still one big grid of 17 cars, and everyone stays nice and close for the majority of the races. So, yeah. I don't see any reason why, just because we're lacking a few drivers, that we should have any lack of racing.
Yeah, I fully agree. We're going to have Mark Draper, who's jumped out in the front of the line. He got sick of waiting for Carl Jacklett and decided he's going to go past him as we go through turn 10 and then into the carousel. You can see in the top right-hand corner, guys, as well, which version of Mid-Ohio we are at. We've taken out the long run after the start, finish straight to the tight right-hander. We're going to go a little bit shorter here as well. And I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's jump on board with Mark Draper, who will give us a rundown now as we go into that turn 1 here. Nice little left-hander to start things off. Let's hope they can all make it through here without any issues. So that will all be good, and hopefully they'll be able to get all the way through as we go around the sweeping right-hander, right-hander of turn 2. And then we've got this run up into turn 3. Mark Draper weaving a little bit over the track, warming up them tyres, topping out at about 105 miles an hour, probably one of the fastest speeds they're going to get to this evening as we go up through 3 and over 4. Pulls that blind crest that you can't really see what's going on the other side. Into 5 we go, taking a little bit of the curb on the right hand side, and then we go up through the S's section of 6 and 7, and then into Thunder Valley. Turn right-hander here as well, round for turn 8, and then we've got this run down into turn 9, and then the right-hander of 9, and then the left-hander of 10, which is where we're going into right about now. And then we go round the final carousel of turn 11 before we go on to the left-hander of turn 12. There's the carousel. Here's the left-hander of turn 12, and there we go across the line. Nice and quick here, Zach. 12 corners kind of fly by at the moment, and Mark Draper on top with a 1:18.93. I know Pete Newman did a 1:17.937. Now, there was a funny story because Jack Andrews posted that he had the faster time than Pete Newman on a 1:25.93. Newman was on a 1:26.25, and then Newman posts about literally, what's that, 20 minutes later, he's gone and done a 1:17, and Jack didn't come back with anything. So Jack was nice and quiet about the fact that all of a sudden Newman's in the 1:17s.
Got humbled really quick.
Yes,
put it that way. I mean,
within about 20 minutes.
Yeah, Pete Newman probably saw that and was just like, all right,
young lad.
Got onto iRacing, stretched out, limbered up, put in a lap time in 3, and then and when I have been there back in when I used to league race on F1, I had this friend who was really quick, and his setups were amazing, and he had a lap time that he hadn't touched for about a year. So I load on, get on this really super OP setup, and beat his lap time, and I'm really chuffing myself, and I screenshot it to him and I send it to him, and I'm like, I've just beat your lap time, and he's like, give me 5 minutes. He goes on and he smashes it by like 0.6 of a second, and there I am, just completely defeated, completely humbled. So yeah, short-lived happiness, let's put it that way. But yeah, sometimes it is better to stay grounded and have some modesty. Not to say that Jack Andrews was trying to boast or anything like that. I mean, he was trying.
Wasn't he?
Not that it was in a malicious "I'm better than you" way. More proud of his achievements, and then Pete Newman was just like, "Nah, you got nothing to be proud of, mate. Absolutely not."
Yeah.
And to be fair, Pete Newman has just had a slice of humble pie because he's a quarter of a second off Adam Delmont. Like, that's a decent chunk of time.
Yeah. I'm sure it won't last though, because Newman, as we know, is naturally quick there. Tom Wester, welcome in. Ria, welcome in, and Phil. Now, we did launch the merch store, guys. We have had to take it down due to some issues on there as well. So that will go back up later on this evening. So you can check out JPBroadcasting.com merch, and you will see products going up later on. There was a little bit of an issue, and we've just had to take it back off as well. So we were all ready for the launch, and then we've had to take it back down again, but that will go up there. There's hats up there, cups up there, t-shirts up there, hoodies up there at the moment, when they all come on a little bit later. So be prepared for after this one. Give me about an hour after this, and all the products will be back up in the store. There's a nice little beanie up there as well, Zach, that I'm thinking about even buying for myself, to be honest.
Fair enough. Yeah, go for it. I know you like your beanies.
I do like my beanies.
And I mean, it's the end of October, and I'm getting into my car every morning at 6:30, freezing. So you know, maybe you do need a beanie. Maybe we should have some puffer coats. The JP puffers. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing.
Or even JPB. Yeah. Unless you're Tom Weston and he says JPB. He says. I've told him many times, but he never gets it right. Good evening, Jason Morris. How are you, dear sir? Thank you so much for joining us. And we're in 6 minutes of qualifying. But remaining here as well, and currently Pete Newman out in front on a 1:17.914, so he did go out and beat Delmont's time. David Ayres leading the AMS, of course, in the championship here once more. Of course, there was no points for Zolder, so we will rerun it and get it down there as well. All the drivers voted for basically just to add more rounds on, I'm sure, because they love driving the Clios that much. They were like, yeah, just add them on, we want to race, let's drive. So that was nice to hear as well, that the drivers were quite happy just to add them on. So that's what we did as well. It's good to see Adam McNally in here earlier on. Adam McNally had a little bit of a problem in Discord, and then he found out he hadn't selected a role. So I'm glad he did in the end and get himself back out on track. Charles Kellerman is here. He's got no time on the board at the moment. He has got green, obviously his personal best in Sector 1 as we go into practically the last 3.5 minutes. So let's see what Charles Kellerman can do here as well. And is he going to move himself up above those AMs? Because at the moment, Carl Jacqueline and Craig Jones here, Zach, are both mixing up in the AM fight.
They very much are. And, well, looking forward to seeing what they can do. I mean, Craig Jones, he's a very, very fast driver.
Yeah, he's a three-time champion, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Three-time champion. He's got them trophies. He's got those achievements. And he... I'm trying to think of anything else good to say about him.
You have to be careful, because you got to find superlatives for Craig Jones. You know, so you've got to find them superlatives for him. He's a triple champion.
To be fair, he did bow down to me at some point. He messaged me saying I had a funny joke in a Discord. He didn't post it publicly. He messaged me privately as to not admit that I was funny in public. He had to do it behind everyone's back, so it didn't seem like he was actually being nice to me for once. So there you go. Craig Jones is a true softie and has just won his 4th trophy. He's got 3 for something, I don't know.
No. Let's give it the guy props, right? Last season in the Clios, he took the AM Championship. That's why he's been promoted to pros. And he won the team championship. So that's the 2 I'm aware of. I know he won the AM Championship in the UK Sim Racers MX-5s at one point. So that would be the 3. And then he did also as well, I got to give him props for this, he did also get an award for business something or rather that I don't know the details for. So technically he's won 4 things here, and 3 of them were through iRacing. So I've got to give him a bit of props for that, because he did take the AM Championship, the Team Championship, and the UK Sim Racers AM Championship as well. I think that was actually in the very first season we covered the UK Sim Racers. So, you know, from that perspective, I can understand he's got some props here. Adam Dalmont's got some greens on the board. He's running out of time at the moment. This is going to be his last lap here with about 25 seconds on the clock. What's Dalmont going to be able to do? He's only... he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. Newman's going to get it. Newman is going to get that pole here. And the last man across the circuit, if he can get there, I don't think he's going to get there in 10 seconds, will be John McCutchinson here as Charles Kellerman takes a divert off the side of the circuit. So there we go. Unfortunately for Kellerman, he was going faster in Sector 1. So he is going to find himself mixing it up between the AMs. But let's bring you up the grid for race 1. Pete Neiman is out in front with Adam Dalmont and John McCutchinson. You're 1, 2, 3. Adam McNally in 4th. Carl Hardy 5th. And Mark Draper in 6th. David Ayres and Roger Morton are on the front row for the AMs with Carl Jacqueline, Craig Jones in the middle of them. Then you got Paul Godden, Edward Parfitt, Jack Andrews, Charles Kellerman, Andy Littler, Sir Alan Toon, and then Lee Deemer. As we say, 17 cars on track this evening. It's going to be, I'm sure, exciting regardless as well. I have seen races that have only had 12 drivers, and they've been absolutely amazing races. So let's see what happens here in this one. Rhea there. Phil as well. Yes, keep adding them on to the start of next season, says Phil. Well, we're not going to keep adding rounds on. We've just got to make up for the fact that there were some errors with the sessions. And Rhea there, he's very adamant that he's the champ. Yes, he tells us regularly that he's the champion, does Craig Jones. And, well, to be honest, I get sick of hearing it. I'm not going to lie, Zach.
Yeah. He likes to shove it down your throat. And he doesn't let you forget.
No.
That he's won a couple of things in his lifetime, which, to be fair, I mean, if your best achievement is some pretend racing car trophies, then, like, I don't know. I think that speaks more to the negative than it does the positive. But anyway, let's see what he can do over the course of the next 20 minutes.
You keep giving him grief. We're going to have 5 laps. And we are going to be green here this evening as well. Round 9 kicks off from Mid-Ohio, and it is Pete Newman, Adam Dalmont, and John Hutchinson. Your 1, 2, 3 as they go into turn 1 here, and then they've got a tight right hand up for 2. This is where it's all going to matter now. Are these guys all going to make it through here? Oh, some are, some aren't. And I've got a funny feeling there was a very slow people in front of these guys as well, because unfortunately a couple of them had a little bit of a moment, and one of them was the boy. So David is now chasing down. He's up 2 places, chasing down Adam McNally here as well. Zach, a very tricky turn 1, that left-hander, and then to go into that tight right-hander of 2. They managed it well, and there was some Tokyo drift slides, but it was always going to be very difficult.
It's tight, it's twisty, and it's a lot. I've just realised that I pressed mute rather than unmute, but it's fine. We're here. I'm here. It's Monday, guys. Just let me off. Just let me off. Okay, it's not as bad as the stuff I got up to at work today. It's Monday. Just allow me a minute. Like these guys out on track as well, because again, that run into turn 2, of course, was always going to be a little bit messy. The worst thing is when you press mute and then start talking, and then it takes you a second to realise that you've pressed mute. Anyway, we round off lap number 1. It's Newman from Dalmont, Draper already 3 seconds back. So it seems already to be materialising itself into a 2-horse race in the at the front.
There it is, but don't forget we have got that reverse grid. What's going to kick in here? Carl Hardy is on the back of the pack. There's Mark Draper. He has been swamped by McNally, Ayres, Morton, Jones as well. So that's going to be a tough for Mark Draper here, and see if he's going to be able to hold on to these positions with these guys pressurising him. You can see Dalmont is right up the nose of Pete Newman here once more. Paul Godden is trying to get on to the back of the pack here with Edward Parfitt leading Andy Littler, and also Sir Alan Toon further back. So it's all going off here through this race at the moment. Lap 2, 18 minutes remaining. We're starting to see gaps appear, and one of them is this one here as Dalmont goes up the inside of Pete Newman. Is he going to make it through? Newman's going to have the inside, of course, for the left-hander of turn 10. Dalmont's going to have the inside for the carousel. He's got to put it under pressure. He does make it through there. Not your traditional overtaking place from Adam Dalmont, but boy, oh boy, did it make it work that time around.
Yeah, wow, what a move. And what a bit of racing between these two. I mean, great respect between 2 absolute titans of this championship. They are so clear and above the rest. I mean, these two have been the only 2 that have really given each other a proper challenge all the way through the season. Adam Dalmont, he is ferocious, and he needs to be in this pursuit for the championship. Of course, he got a little bit of a blessing with Zolder being discounted a week ago, because that means that he's now truly in with at least a decent shout. Side by side, a little bit further back as well. As you can see, Craig Jones trying to move his way up on McHutchinson, who himself has found himself with a slowdown of all things, and, well, that is suboptimal.
There it is. He end up losing a bunch of places to John McHutchinson there as well. Unfortunately for him, he did get a slowdown, and that unfortunately put him now behind Paul Godden and Craig Jones, the three-time champion, of course. Here, well, we could just say, you know, a one-time champion of the AMS, really. Let's be real. But he did an absolutely stellar job at taking that championship. Roger Morton, David Ayres still fighting it out for this AM1 here as well. Morton's come out this week and declared that he is just going to go full bore every single race. He knows he's a little bit behind in the point scoring, and he knows that he's just got to take the win in every single race they go into. And well, he'll have to see how he gets on and whether or not he can jump David Ayres. The problem is David Ayres has been so consistent this season, Zach, as well. It's very hard to see anybody going to be able to get past him.
Yeah, that's the thing with David Ayres. He has just been a symbol of continuity throughout the season. You know, he's quick as well, which is great. He's continuously quick. But the most important thing for David Ayres is he's always inside the top 5, always inside the top 3, always in contention at the very least for a 5th place. If not always better, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. He is always up there scoring points. And that's not to take anything away from Roger Morton as well, because he is in the exact same boat. He's just had a couple more of them weeks where he hasn't quite been on the pace or this, that and the other, and that's where David Ayres says, all right, I'll just finish 4th. If you're going to DNF, I'll finish 4th and bank some good points in the bag. David Ayres has just been mega, and of course if he's able to wrap up that AM Championship, it would be amazing to see what he can do if he decides to continue for next season into the pros, because yeah, well, it would be a very well-deserved place, I'm sure, for him, as he's 5th place overall. Him and Roger Morton, to be fair, wouldn't do half bad in the pros, in fairness to them. Paul Godden under pressure from the Scotsman of McHutchinson in the fight for 9th as well. Of course, McHutchinson, he's had a very, very poor first quarter of this race. Is a slowdown.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Craig Jones going slow. Beautiful.
He is there as well.
I mean,
unfortunately for Jones. Zach Sweeney, knock it off, dear sir. But yes, Craig Jones did get a slowdown, unfortunately, there as well. As we go into 15 minutes remaining, is John McHutchinson going to be able to take David Ayres? This is going to be the question. Can he get past? He can't this time around as they go up through turn 3. McHutchinson in that gold, black, silver. Paul Godden in that Sim Stickers Sim Life livery that we are so accustomed to here on the JPB Clio Cup. And he's doing a great job at the moment holding up John McHutchinson. Adam McNally, however, is doing a great job at holding up the ever-fast David Ayres at the moment. David Ayres has got the bit between the teeth here, Zach, and is doing an absolute stellar job.
He is, and yeah, he's. I don't know what does he put in his Weetabix every morning is what I want to know, because it's certainly something good to be fighting for 4th place overall. And Adam McNally, he's not slow. He's a very competent driver. So David Ayres proving his worth and showcasing the Mid-Ohio. It's not a bad circuit for him in the slightest. Pete Newman setting the new fastest lap of this race in 18.0. But the top 2 only separated by really a couple hundredths of a second per lap, which is absolutely nothing. So keep an eye on that fight for the lead as they continue to check out ahead of Mark Draper. We could well have a 3-way fight as there goes David Ayres nipping his way to the inside. Slight bit of contact as they run their way on the exit of turn 2. They do emerge side by side, but only momentarily. David Ayres forced to tuck back in behind. It's costing them time to Draper, but Ayres is... he's not being shy today.
No, he definitely is not at the moment. So Alan Toon and Jack Andrews. Jack Andrews just gone past Alan Toon there. So Andrews has been off the side of the circuit, unfortunately, and now is all about the recovery. Craig Jones and Paul Godden. Godden is in the middle of the free. I'm expecting McHutchinson to get on his boots a little bit here and say thank you very much, I'm off, mind you. But Paul Godden is setting the pace really around Craig Jones's pace. So if Godden can keep Jones back behind him, it will be a great achievement for him, because I think he has just done really, really well. As we look through the window of Paul Godden's car as they're coming round the left-hander of turn 10 before they go into that carousel of 12. Oh, Jones is closing right back up at the moment. Is he going to be able to get past us? Here as we're going to go round the left-hander of 12. He looks a little bit out of shape, a little bit out of sorts. Did Craig Jones on that one there as well? He hit the curb, he hit the grass. Don't think he's going to make it this time though, Zach. I think he's going to miss out this time around, and he's going to have to wait and try and get Paul Godden somewhere else, because he isn't looking too comfortable in that last little section of the circuit.
No, not really. And that's sort of ideally where you need to be quick, because through the carousel and then the kink that leads you onto the pit straight, you need to be quick there. I mean, turn one is not the most ideal overtaking opportunity, but it leads itself into 2, and then that back straight run through 3, and then into the braking zone of 4. So they all sort of have that chain reaction that funnel into each other. So really got to nail that last bit of the circuit to sort of set yourself up for a good overtaking opportunity. Otherwise, you will always be playing catch-up and never really be able to be in control. A little bit further up, you can see Roger Morton under pressure from the Pure Sims driver of Carl Hardy, Pete Newman's teammate, of course, who has been a really good rear gunner for the championship leader. And to be fair, has scored in some good results himself. But right now is looking to potentially find himself in the mix for a podium. We still have over half the race left to go, let's not forget. And we've got Draper, McNally, Ayres and Morton, and also Hardy, of course, all under a second away from each other. So what could well be a potentially 4-way fight for the podium here.
Yeah, it definitely is. You can see John McCutcheon's down 5, the biggest loser of the whole race. Jacquelette's down 4 as well. The biggest gainer, though, is Mark Draper. He's up 3 places with Andy Littler tied there. So great job for Mark Draper. You see the gap through the field at the moment here, all the way down into 12th is 21 seconds. So they're a little bit more spread out, but the top 2 are still trying to close in. Newman still trying to have a go at Adam Dalmont there. You can see the lap times at the bottom of your screen. Dalmont was quicker on 3, 4 and 7. They're equal, and then it was Newman over 5 and 6. So this battle's going to loom on, I think, here, Zach. I don't think there's any winner at the moment. I think for the next 10 minutes, we're going to get the Dalmont Pete Newman fighting it out here.
I would very much be inclined to agree, and for good reason, because, yeah, I love it when these two come to blows. Well, not when they come to blows, but, when they make you think they're about to, and then they don't, and then they pull off some amazing racing between each other, because these two going toe-to-toe, you can't really get much better. It's not often that we see them in direct fights with each other either. It's more they're playing with the points and, racing against the timing table in a way. Sort of, if I get 4th and he gets 6th, then I mathematically get enough points. That's sort of the racing that we get between these two some of the time. But when we get them actually on track, physically racing each other for position, you can't really beat it whatsoever. Dalmont versus Newman, 3.5 tenths of a second between the two of them, and absolutely matched on pace and just clearing off from the rest of the field. So it's not even like they have to worry about anyone else getting involved. They can just fight to their heart's content and give us, hopefully, fireworks in this battle.
Yeah, I can guarantee you now, both of these are probably sat in the car absolutely loving this. They're sat in the car fighting it out continuously here. This is one of the closest battles on the track at the moment here. So I can guarantee these two will be loving it. Dalmont, again, slower than Newman over lap 8. So Newman is pulling him in here, Zach. He's getting him in ever so close, slowly, bit by bit by bit. And I can guarantee by the end of these last 9 minutes, they're going to be going over the line. No to tail, I would have thought. I don't think a lot's going to change between these two. However, with David Ayres and Adam McNally, David Ayres is looking strong here. He's already had a go once at Adam McNally as well. That didn't work out. The door did close on him, unfortunately, and there was just no room at the inn. But for David Ayres at the moment, he's doing an absolute stellar job keeping in front of Roger Morton. That's what he's got to do as the leading arm at the moment here, Zach. He's just got to keep in front of the likes of Paul Godden, of the likes of Andy Littler, Roger Morton, and obviously Edward there as well. So he's doing a great job. He's doing what he has to do.
He is, yeah, exactly. And obviously he doesn't necessarily gain anything from getting past Adam McNally, apart from a little bit of pride as to, whoopee, look at me, I'm 4th in the overall standings or anything like that. All he needs to do is to beat Roger Morton to extend the gap in the championship. He knows the job at hand, of course, as racing drivers in sim racing. Ego is a huge thing, right? Let's not beat around the bush. Everyone's got at least a little bit of an ego complex. So he is going to want that 4th place. That, something in the back of his mind, the little devil on his shoulder is going to be saying, do it. Go on.
I agree.
Go on. You won't. Send it. Break late. You can do it. And then the angel on the other side is going to be saying, be sensible. Roger Morton's there. You've got championships win. And then he's going to be weighing it up in his head and thinking, I would like to see him go for it, because he has already shown intent of going for it. But maybe he's settled down now for the rest of the race and he's just going to try and consolidate that 5th place. But to be fair, if he can get ahead of McNally and have that car between himself and Morton, that could be an extra barrier of defence that, in fairness, could actually help him in the long run. So we'll wait and see what David Ayres has in store, and also we'll wait and see what these two have in store for us as well. You can see the way that Delmont's driving, he purposefully went deep into 2 to then sort of run a little bit deeper and cut back for a later apex, which allowed him to obviously have this run now. He knows how to defensively drive. Initially, it opened the door for Newman, but he shut it quick enough. He managed to get that late apex. He managed to get the drive down the straight. He's doing a brilliant job of defending this, as he has done a number of times, but on quite a vast number of those times that he's defended from Pete Newman, he's lost it on the last lap. So Delmont, be careful.
Yeah, he does there as well, looking through the back window of Adam Delmont's car as they are coming into turn 9. That, what you were talking about, Angels and Devils, reminds me of Guilty Conscience by Eminem and Dr. Dre as well. Won't go into too much details of the song, but if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's Guilty Conscience by Eminem and Dr. Dre. That kind of wraps it, that kind of gives that same feeling about the devil and the angel, you know what I mean? And that's the thing with people who are in these battles. It is the thing for Roger Morton, David Ayres, you know, it's whether or not they're going to put themselves in that situation to have a go when we are so late in the championship. Now, I'm not going to say that David Ayres is just going to sit there any more than I'm going to say Roger Morton's going to sit there. What I will say is, at the end of the day, these guys are battling, and David Ayres again, whoa, covers off Roger Morton's inside move there. That, yeah. This is what we mean with David Ayres. He does things, but he does it so cleanly. Like, if that was anybody else, there would have been a big chop off and a big nose gone and everything else. But he just covered off Roger Morton. He covered off that inside line. He's got great awareness. His awareness is second to none, is David Ayres. And I love the way that he drives. He's constantly, he must have his head on a swivel in that rig, because he seems to constantly know where everybody is.
Yeah, that, or he's just got 3 screens that completely surround him, or he's in VR, one of the two, and he can just look at everywhere. Or he has, I don't know, maybe he's just got a little spotter that goes and watches everyone and feeds him the information. We'd be able to tell if that was the case, because there'd be an extra person in the session. But he just has eyes and ears everywhere, and it's mind-boggling, because that is the awareness that you have to have as a champion. You know, you can't get through just being oblivious and not checking your mirrors. You know, not saying you need to do mirror signal maneuver or anything like that, but you do need to be looking, checking where everyone is, checking what your surroundings are like, checking if you're able to go for a move, checking if the person behind you is going to go for a move, all those little things. I was running a little bit wide there, was McNally, and oh my goodness, close to contact. Roger Morton now goes for the move.
Oh, just as we say how consistent he was and how much he goes and has a look. He dives for a move where Adam and Ali left the door open, and then he ended up putting himself behind Roger Morton. Morton took the opportunity to get up the gap that David Ayres left for him, and Morton said, thank you very much. These front two, now there was 2 cars there for a brief moment. It looked like we just had Delmont, but Pete Newman and Adam Delmont scrapping it away here as that they're going literally hell to leather, and they've only got about two, maybe 3 laps at the most here left of this course.
Yeah, and that is not very many overtaking opportunities. You've got turn 1, turn 2, turn 4, and then the rest of the circuit you're really just playing following. So you have got to be mindful. We've got, yeah, as you say, I mean, we're starting it with 2 minutes 50 to go. There, 1:18. We might get 3 more laps out of this. So this and 2 more potentially, but Delmont is all over this defense. Pete Newman is trying to find a gap, but it's parked perfectly by the race leader. That 77 machine is flying out in front. They were close to contact. I thought they nearly were going to make some, but Pete Newman has got that awareness to predict that he's going to need to slam on the brakes. Coming into turn number 4, then up over the crest into 5, and the gap does open up. Pete Newman goes for it, and there's contact.
No! I don't think Delmont's far away. I think Delmont might have held it. He did hold it. And is Newman going to give it back to him? It looks like he's giving it back to him. I think he takes a dive at the inside here. He comes off the curb. Dalmont opens the door. Newman's got a massive amount of overspeed. Yeah, Newman slows down, waits for Dalmont to get going, and then they resume their battles. So, well, great sportsmanship, because to be honest with you, Zach, there's probably people who wouldn't have done that here as well. But they've done a great job between them, as we're going to get 2 more laps. This one and one more, and it is still Adam Dalmont and Pete Newman still resuming their battle like nothing had happened, and they're still going for it here.
Yeah, I think that was great from Newman. Obviously, he didn't let Dalmont through. He more just sort of invited him to go back side by side with him. He sort of apologised for tapping him and then just let them go side by side once more, which they are doing again. Into turn number 4, Dalmont giving him a squeeze. They're already alongside, so Dalmont has that inside. But look for Pete Newman using the agility. This time he's got more of an overlap into 5. Side by side for the race lead between the 2 championship rivals. Dalmont trying to keep his nose as they rise up over the crest, back down the hill into turn number 6. It's the inside line for Dalmont, but the Pure Sims machine of Pete Newman is going to try and claim the race lead on the penultimate lap of this race. He's done exactly that, and Dalmont is forced to concede. Has it all come undone for the for the challenger into the final moments of race 1?
Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly here as well. This is going to be incredibly close if they're going to make this for one more lap. I didn't see Barney waving last time around. We're going to have to try and go on board with Newman, because they could have come down with about maybe 15 seconds. So they are going to make it. He is out. He is waving. It is the final lap between Pete Newman and Adam Dalmont. David Ayres and Roger Morton and Adam McNally. They're all on their final laps now. Craig Jones and Paul Godden having a barnstorming scrap at the back here in 9th and 10th, and these guys are scrapping it out as well. But it's all about Adam Dalmont, Pete Newman. There has been a swap. Roger Morton has taken the inside line over Adam McNally. That's going to give him a car's breath here as well. Over the back of David Ayres is going to be a car back. McNally's now looking at coming back down the inside as they come into turn 3. Stuck his nose out for David Ayres. That is going to be horrendous for him, Zach, because now he's got to make 2 places up to get back up into that AM lead.
Yeah, that is disastrous for David Ayres, and unfortunately your head can be on as much of a swivel as you'd like, but yeah, he needs to be looking forwards and firmly forwards, nothing but forwards, as we are on to the final lap of this race. Pete Newman versus Dalmont. I think we predicted it, to be fair, because as good as Dalmont is, unfortunately Pete Newman just had the measure of him. He sat waiting for that opportunity, and he's found himself to take the win.
He is here as well. Dalmont's going to be in 2nd place. He is. It's going to be Pete Newman. It's going to be Dalmont. It's going to be Draper. You're 1, 2, 3 in the pros. What's happening in the AMs? It is going to be taken by Morton. Morton's going to take the AMs here with David Ayres in 2nd place. Great drive by him as he comes over the line as well. And Craig Jones did not get Paul Godden, so Godden will wrap up 3rd place in this AM fight. We're just waiting for the last of the runners at the moment. There is Edward Parfitt. Unfortunately, our lovely internet doing what it does best. Andy Littler and Carl Jacklett. And then we've got Jack Andrews and Sir Alan Toon here. Jack Andrews is all the way round at the carousel. Alan Toon, I believe he has finished because he did get lap near the end, so that's great. Austin Draper, I'm always late. Disappointed in myself. Well, have you got the bells turned on, young sir? Have you got the bells on? You know what I mean? If you haven't got the bells on, you're not going to know, are you? So, you know, turn the bells on. Turn the bells on. Right, here we go. Here are the results of Heat 1. Pete Newman is your winner with Adam Dalmont in 2nd, Mark Draper in 3rd. Then you've got Roger Morton, who took the AM win, with Anna McNally in the middle, with David Ayres there, who was in 2nd. Hardy and John McHutchinson were 7th and 8th. Paul Godden in 9th. Craig Jones going to be in pole position here for race 2 with Edward Parfitt, Andy Littler, Carl Jacklett, Jack Andrews, Sir Alan Toon, Charles Kellerman and Lee Deemer there, rounding out the last of the results. We can bring you the grid for race 2. They do have 5 minutes of gridding, but this is what the grid will look like. Craig Jones will be out in saying out in pole, he'll be on pole, with Paul Godden in 2nd, John McHutchinson 3rd, Carl Hardy 4th, David Ayres 5th, Adam McNally is in 6th, Roger Morton 7th, Mark Draper 8th, Adam Dalmont 9th, and Pete Newman in 10th. Then you've got Edward Parfitt in 11th, Andrew Littler 12th, Carl Jackalett 13th, Jack Andrews 14th, Sir Alan Toon 15th, Charles Kellerman 16th, and then Lee Deemer at the end now. I'm not too sure if Deemer's still taking part at the moment or whether or not he's got an issue. Again, for Dalmont, the last couple of laps seems to cost him every single time. It's getting a bit of a habit here for Adam Dalmont.
Yeah, he seems to get better and better and better and better throughout the race. And then he just gets to the second to last lap and he thinks, oh, well, and then just lets it go. It's as if he uses up all of his talent in the first 14 laps of the race, and then it's just like, and just goes straight down again. And then Pete Newman's like, cheers, mate, goes through, gets it. We say that, I think that is being a little bit harsh, because he gave it a good fight. He defended Pete Newman. I think what it does is it doesn't speak to a lack of talent from Dalmont. It speaks to an abundance of it from Pete Newman more than anything. I mean, Dalmont is there. He's got tons of it. But Newman just finds the edge. He waits. He sat there for so long, piling the pressure on, getting the tension higher and higher and higher, putting even more stress onto Dalmont to the point that he knew full well that if he went for a move, he was confident that he could pull it off. So much so that when it went wrong, he knew that he could just back off and have another go. That second to last lap, Newman saw an opportunity and he didn't waste it. I would say that maybe Dalmont is being a little bit too kind to Newman. Maybe he could have broken later into that corner himself, given him more of a squeeze, made his time that little bit harder. But all in all, I think Newman just had the edge. On pace, Dalmont was definitely there, and his defence throughout the entirety of that of race one cannot be ignored. He just needs to find a way to consolidate it in those final 2 laps. Otherwise, he is going to struggle to make some points in roads on the championship leader.
Yeah, I fully agree. It just seems to be that, unfortunately, when he gets near the end, he's either burnt the tyres trying to stay in front of Newman and he's just not got the grip there, or he makes just a simple basic mistake which doesn't unfortunately do him any favours. But you know, it's going to be tough for Dalmont now, I think, on the running in that championship. Yeah, we've got obviously still got 4 races to go that still give, well, saying that we haven't got 4 races now, we've got 11 races over the 4 rounds that are left, and including this one. So he's got a bit of time, but he's got to go out and win every single one. And when you pile that pressure on yourself, it does become a little bit of a problem and can cause you more worries than as if you didn't pile that pressure on yourself. I think that's the thing. He's going to have so much pressure on his shoulders at the moment that he's now going to have to, he's almost going to, you don't know where I'm going. I think you don't want him to go out and overdrive the car. I think that's the thing. You want him to stay within them limits, stay with that racing, you know, keep doing the Dalmont thing, but just kind of have that killer instinct right at the end. I just don't think he's quite got that kill shot, that, you know, that extra goal, that extra basket, that extra scoring ability, that run, if we want to go into cricket. You know, he just needs that killer bit at the end there, Zach, to finish it off. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, he just needs to, as you say, just be ruthless. And that's the thing. It's great being a respectful driver, and, you know, it's commendable, but there are some times where you have to get your hands a little bit dirty. Obviously, still within the confines of the rules as such, but push the limits a little bit, find that grey area where you can just still get away with a little bit of rubbing, where you can just about say, did I give him enough room? Did I have the apex? Was I warranted to take the space away from him? Because, you know, some people aren't going to give you the same luxury back. I mean, yeah, obviously you've got mutual things and, you know, people give the same respect you give to them as such. But when you're fighting for a lead, when you're fighting for a championship, no one's going to look at the rule book before they go for a move. They're just going to send it, and they're just going to be ruthless, and they're just going to, you know, squeeze the gap that they didn't think they could. But reverse grid race, let's see which of the two has the overtaking abilities.
Yeah, let's see here as well. We've got Craig Jones on that front of the grid. He has got off the line. So has Paul Godden. So has John McCutcheon. So has David Ayres and Carl Hardy. David Ayres is up 1 place already here over Carl Hardy. So David Ayres has got a flyer here. Now this is the tricky bit. Get it stopped. Get it stopped. Carl Hardy and Paul Godden coming to contact. Newman's off the side as well. What went on there?
Too much. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to have to take another look back at that, I think, just to digest through all of it. But what it has meant is that a number of drivers have not definitely gotten off to the start that they would have wanted. Let's take a look. There you can see Pete Newman.
Kyle Hardy,
Kyle Hardy, I should say. And then it's just playing Wii Sports bowling, really, into the side. And then Newman tries to get through. Then there's Kyle Hardy going round. Then they all go to avoid. They squeeze over, doink in a bit, and then into the side of Lee Diemer. It's unfortunate for Pete Newman because he did everything right in that situation. It just, everyone else didn't.
Yeah, like 264 car was David Ayres in that as well, and that's allowed Roger Morton to get on his bike and take that lead in the AMS here at Red as well, with Paul Godden sitting in second and Edward Parfitt in third, and he lit the fourth. Kyle Jacklit's made some gains. There's going to be gainers all the way through. The ones that haven't are Hardy and also Newman. Newman, I think, is going to have to go into the pits here. I don't think he's running straight. Well, he's not gone into the pits here, says as Pete Newman. He's still going, and I wouldn't put it past him to gain a couple of places before the end of this race, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. I don't know if he's got the speed, because David Ayres is just taking him as if Newman was stood still. Andy Littler, Kyle Jacklet fighting it out once more. Here's the Scotsman and McHutchinson, though, going to give Craig Jones enough grief, do we think, that he's going to get past him here. Craig Jones doesn't look like he's got the pace this evening at this circuit. You know, he was down in 10th in the first race. He's now found himself out in the lead here, but the question will be how long can he hold it. As you can see, John McHutchison is already trying to have a go here. The Scotsman on that run through into turn 9. He is through already, and I can't see anybody catch him, McHutchison now. For Dalmont, I think he's going to be the only one here, Zach, that could give McHutchison a run for his money, but he's got to clear Morton and he's got to clear Ayres, and he's Craig Jones, sorry, and he's got to do it quick. I think that's the thing for Adam Dalmont. He is on a time limit now. He needs to clear the cars. He cannot afford to let John McHutchison get away. That Scotsman, once he's away, he's gone. And that's the thing. He clears Roger Morton now, and he's got to do the same to Craig Jones to make sure he doesn't get stuck behind him either. He needs to be on McHutchison. He has got an opportunity now to take points out of Pete Newman, and that opportunity doesn't come around every race here. He's got to grasp it. He's got to get that ball by the horns. He's got to take this win to make sure he can optimise his points.
Yeah, this is big. A huge opportunity for Dalmont. And of course, with Newman being down in 14th, what it means is that come race 3, he's going to be starting on the front row. So Dalmont, in the grand scheme of things, you know, for this evening of racing, needs to balance the equilibrium, because he knows that next race Pete Newman's going to be at the front. Chances are he's going to make some inroads on Dalmont. So this is his chance to sort of tip the scale in his favour. And as you say, it's not an opportunity he can waste. There are not really many races that Pete Newman gets a poor pot of luck, if you will. So he needs to find a way through on Craig Jones ASAP. But thankfully for Dalmont, obviously John McHutchison isn't able to get away as much as he'd have hoped. Craig Jones still hammering him for a race lead. Never thought I'd ever say that sentence in my life, but Dalmont is probably going to put an end to this in the near future. He's eyeing up a move, but to be fair, you said he's on a time limit. He's got loads of time. He's got 15 minutes and 43 seconds to go for this move. He's going to send it into turn 2 anyway. Craig Jones gives him the space. Absolute send from the 77 machine, but he has got time to take this easy. He's got time to close the gap to McHutchison, and right now his aim is that second place for now.
Well, where they are currently, Dalmont is on for, if he takes the win, I'm just going to put the presumption out there, right? So if he takes the win at the moment, he is on 50 points, right? If he takes the win. And if Pete Newman finishes where he is at the moment, he's only going to score 34 points. Now, obviously, in the first race of the evening as well, Newman got that 50, Dalmont got the 44, so that's the 6. He was already minus 6 at that point. If he gets the 50 and Newman gets the 34, which I'm gonna think he will, because I can't see him catching Kyle Hardy, he will lose. He will almost, Dalmont's gonna be plus 10 for the night. Okay, so Dalmont will be plus 10 for the night. He is already, what is he, 25, 28 back. That's going to bring him 18 without the next reverse grid on race 3. So Dalmont's got a great opportunity here to get some nice points out of Pete Newman. He's forcing his way through John McCutcheon, leaning on each other. The Scotsman's trying to close the door. Look at Dalmont. He's being squeezed like an orange in a juicer. On the way down into turn 2. Dalmont's still going to turn 3. Dalmont's still going to have the inside. John McCutcheson's going to keep his foot in. He's not going to give it up easy. Dalmont settles in behind him. McCutcheson runs a little bit wide coming into turn 5. Now they're still side by side. McCutcheson in the gold. Dalmont in the green. Is it going to be Dalmont through? He is going to get through. I don't think this is the end. I cannot see this being the end with John McCutcheon. Hutch is going to literally try and get that position back, but that was stellar racing for half a lap there, Zach, at this circuit, and Adam Dalmont picks up that, well, gets the first place that he needs.
Yeah, and now he's got to keep it. That is the be-all and end-all of this race, and he needs to run away with it. Just go. Don't care about what's going on behind you, just drive. He knows he's quicker than those behind him. He's just put in an 18.0, which is a mega quick lap time. Go, run, check out. Just don't even look in your mirror. Don't even think about it. Just look at the next apex, look at the next braking zone, and drive the wheels off that car. Not literally, of course, because that's not going to win you any races, but allow McCutcheon, allow Craig Jones to fight amongst each other. You get away on a day where Pete Newman, to be fair, Newman still has a chance for a couple more places, but nothing inside, firmly inside the top 10. Which is huge news for Dalmont. That is going to be a big points gain that he needs. He needs this race. This is a golden opportunity for him, and if he lets this slide, that's going to be the championship.
Yeah, it is. I think this is where Adam McNally ended up in the pits. It is. Yeah, he just got absolutely sideswiped. No back end on the car, no front end on Pete Newman's car. McNally then, unfortunately, everybody on the brakes. And McNally does get out of the way. I don't think Newman's got the car. I don't think he honestly has got the car to make any more moves up through the field. He definitely is not going to get to Carl Hardy, and he definitely, I don't think, is going to get to Draper and Jacklett, who are in that 4th, 5th and 6th spot in the pros. And this little battle in the middle with Andy Littler, who's trying to hang on to Carl Jacklett. Edward Parfitt's trying to take a podium and doing an absolute runner and trying to get away from them all, because he's got 2 very quick pros in Jacklett and Draper right behind Littler here. And if they clear Littler, he is going to be in trouble. Craig Jones and John McCutcheon going at it again. I think both men are struggling with this circuit tonight. Hutch was obviously out in front. We know that as well for a brief moment. He took the front and was in the lead, but he didn't do well in race 1, and I'm wondering whether or not the Scotsman's quite got the pace here this evening. And if both of these haven't got the pace, this is going to give an opportunity to this Am, who clearly Roger Morton has got the pace because of where he finished in race 1. So I think for Roger Morton, this is a great opportunity to get second overall here with 2 drivers that look like they're clearly struggling at this circuit.
Yeah, I mean, for Morton, it makes no difference in terms of his points, but great ego boost, great, show of strength to the likes of sort of David Ayres and things to say, you know what, I've got the pace to beat some of the best pros and be up there in second place overall. Like, it is huge for him and could be sort of a momentous occasion for him. For an Am, you're capped in your category as such. You can only win the Ams. You don't get any extra points for winning in the overall standings or anything like that. But, it could just be the sense that is an achievement for these guys to say, all right, well, I want to do well in the AM category, but I also maybe want to aim for an overall podium or something like that, just as a personal achievement, just to boost their confidence. And yeah, Roger Morton at the moment has definitely got a good opportunity of that, but how much does he want to risk some good points over David Ayres in this race? Very close to contact between these guys. You can see Carl Jacklett now overtaken by Mark Draper, who sees the opportunity on the inside and says, cheers, mate, and finds his way through.
Jacklett run a little bit deep. He's still alongside. You can just see him out of the rear view here of Mark Draper's car. To the right-hand side of us, there's going to be the red photomediamachine.uk. Go and check them out. The website is live here as well. Jacklett's made that way back through. He is a fighter, isn't he? He doesn't give up. He just literally, apart from defending like an absolute trooper, Jacklett can race. I think that's what we forget sometimes, because we're so used to him being climbed over and making that move, especially in TCRs, isn't he, where he's an Am. He does so well traffic managing in the NAM. But this is a pro fight. This is Jacqueline and Draper going at it. And Jacqueline's not going to roll over and get his belly tickled like my little dash out, mate. He's going to want to put it in there. He's going to lion hard it off and try and stay ahead of Draper as best as he can.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I'm so incredibly impressed with how he's driving. It is just on top form. I mean, he's doing everything that he needs to. He's doing everything right, and it's great to watch. Again, close, but thinking better of it, I think, or maybe forced to think better of it by by not going for an absolute stupid move. But anyway, Jacqueline, yeah, again, he's been so impressive. I mean, he's not been, blowing the time machines ablaze or anything like that, but he has been driving well. And, well, there we go. That's not it. But
Sweeney.
He's been able to hold it.
Let's cut that with Draper.
To be fair, he's been driving better than them two.
Oh, no.
He did that on purpose.
You reckon he went off track and avoided avoided? Oh, he just missed it. What happened to Andy Littler and Mark Draper there? Oh, Draper's gone up the inside. Mark. Let him come back through. Good job there, buddy. Well done. Newman still didn't capitalise on that, mind you. He still didn't get any places out of that. Mark Draper lost. Obviously, he's still behind Andy Littler after they're coming together. Kyle Hardy, however, said thank you very much. I'll have both of them. So Kyle Hardy's moved himself up into 5th in the class at the moment. So, great effort from Kyle Hardy that kept him where he is. You can see the classes on the left-hand side there as well. Craig Jones still mixing it up, but he's got Roger Morton for company. Now, these two know each other personally. I've met Roger as well at the Birmingham NEC while we were up there last year. Lovely bloke. Met his wife, his kids, absolutely amazing as well. But these guys known each other for a while. Racing the UK sim races on a Tuesday they were, and they do know how to fight each other. The problem is sometimes it's almost like mates driving, where it doesn't necessarily work out too well for either of these. So let's see how this one pans out here, and whether or not this battle is going to ensue into clean, fair racing, I think the terminology is there, Zach, or will it be that mates racing?
Well, I mean, as long as they keep it nice and respectful, I think either way works. It is just a case of how they race as mates. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I think, having that chemistry as mates racing can go a long way, because you trust each other, to give each other the space, even if you are going to push the limits and go for some silly dives. You have got that trust in each other, and you wouldn't do those silly dives if you didn't. So, of course, that's why we see it. That's wide out of turn 1, gives him the inside for 2, and that is a very clever way to go about things. Inside line, Roger Morton picked his way past Craig Jones, demotes him off the podium, and now we've got an AM driver on merit on the overall podium.
Yeah, Jones just, well,
by himself.
Yeah, by himself. Mirror driving there, I think. That's not going to win any medals, and it's not going to be a 10 out of 10 either. Unfortunately for Craig Jones, that's allowed Roger Morton to go out and make that, take the 3rd spot in the podium overall. Great driving. The young lad of Jack Andrews is still here. He's trying to chase down on David Ayres at the moment. So for the young lad, he's only 16 years old, first ever league racing, doing a stellar job, I think, this season. This is a great practice for him, a great overall. Andy Littler here as well. He's got Mark Draper closing in once again. Darryl Wright, mates, Craig doesn't have any friends, just enemies. Now, this is also true as well. I agree on that one at times. Don't forget, guys, as well, one of the things we have announced is a new BDLV event on the 26th of November. If you want to go and get yourselves in, help raising money for the Rainbow Trust, that would be amazing. Head over to JPBroadcasting.com. Teams are free, minimum of 2. Go click on the BDLV tab and you will see the sign up form there as well. Entries £15 between the drivers, so £15 per team, so £5 each. All money goes to the Rainbow Trust. It's 100% non-profit race for JPB. We don't take a single penny out of this. Everything goes to the Rainbow Trust, and obviously last year on the last one we raised over £2,500. On the first one we raised over over £1,500. So we are looking to try and beat that if we can this year. So if you want to get yourselves involved, 6 hours of Brands Hatch GP circuit, GT4s and TCRs, obviously, because that's the 2 leagues that we do. No, he's done it again in exactly the same spot. Oh, Mark.
Well, that was a bit of a tool to have done.
The only thing I want to have a look at is I want to catch Mark Draper there. Where are you, Mark?
Let's see, because the thing is you run wide here to get the inside, same as turn 1 and 2. So you basically just accelerate from that point, let yourself run wide, get the inside here. It's touch and go.
And there's a gap.
There is a gap, but
there is
what
a
point
gap.
does Littler commit? At what point does Littler commit? Because they're 2 corners that are, you know, they're one straight into the other. So as soon as Littler commits, that's when the door is shut. That's when you back out, because Littler cannot...
He was alongside though. Even I'm, you know, I'm a big advocate of you've got to be alongside. I will give Mark Draper credit on that one. He was alongside, and you can basically see that off the front right of Draper. The fact that his front right overlaps with Littler. If you have a look, I'll speed it on a little bit and then slow it down again. So you can see here, he has overlapped. Now, obviously, you've got that big old dose of, you know, that wonderful thing in the middle there. But he had overlapped him there, Zach. And you know I'm a big advocate of making sure you have overlapped somebody. And he did overlap on that. So, bar the gap in the middle and bar that lovely thing that happens here when we get loads of people from all over the world, you know, there was an overlap. And I don't normally give people credit for overlaps, but I do agree there was overlap from Mark Draper on that one. So could it have been avoided? Well, without that, you know, dose in the middle, it probably would have turned out how that last one was. There would have been physical contact and Draper would have probably ended up sliding. So it's a really big hit and miss, I think, on that one.
Yeah, I can understand in that regard. They wouldn't have spun if there wasn't, you know, people alongside. I just again, I think, you know, there has to be a cut off at what point does Littler commit and what point does Draper back out. But fair enough. I mean, at the point of turn in, he was alongside, so Littler maybe could have given a little bit more room. But again, it all depends, because again, in iRacing you have your spotter.
Yeah.
For Littler, he might not have known that Draper was alongside. It might have been the half a second before his crew chief comes in and says, you've got a car on your inside, mate. Because in iRacing, you can't look unless you physically sort of have a button to look. Even then, you can't really see much. So it might have just been a case of actually not knowing that he was there, which is fair. You know, especially if you weren't expecting him to go for a move. It is tough racing in iRacing, but I suppose that is the point of it being a simulator. So yeah, that's sort of my take on it. I think definitely there could have been more done both parts to avoid it. But you have to give sort of the benefit of the doubt in that regard, because he genuinely might not have known that there was a car there.
Yeah, I physically agree. Dan Lewis, why no Clios in the BDLV? Well, the last time people asked on the very first BDLV, we did GT3s, TCRs and MX5s. People asked for them 3 categories, and we did them, and then nobody took the MX5, or there was like 3 people or something. So we had to drop the MX5 and then move them in. I think they moved into TCRs or GT3s, one of them. Now, the problem with doing all 3 is, yes, every driver here tonight doesn't drive a GT4 and doesn't drive a TCR. You know, apart from Carl Jacklett, Mark Draper, I think are the only ones that drive TCRs. So, yes, it's possible that could work, but you're relying on everybody in the Clio League to get involved and sign up with the Clios. And that's the thing. It doesn't always work having 3 classes. Yes, they would work on track effectively, but it doesn't always work having that spread of drivers either. So it's a little bit hit or miss on that one, I'm afraid, Dan. I think the problem is obviously whether or not everybody would turn up for the Clios. You know, you've got It's a tough one, but coming towards the end of the race on the final lap, Adam Dalmont out in front by an absolute mile. Pete Newman's moved up a place. That's going to save him at least some points that he would have been losing here, Zach, I think, for Pete Newman. So that's going to help him a little bit on the fight with Adam Dalmont. He is now, where is he? 6th in class. So 6th in class is going to get 35. So he's going to gain 1. So Dalmont's gap goes down to +9 here as well. But yeah, he's managed to save a little bit of face on that one. Roger Morton and John McHutchison. I know it's only 1 gap, Zach, but 1 point. But 1 point makes all the difference when it comes towards the end of the season.
Every little helps.
Every little helps, as Tesco's.
Yeah, other
or is it Asda?
are available. Oh, James.
It's Tesco's.
I can't believe you.
It's Tesco's.
Yeah, it is.
It is Tesco's. Right, Dalmont's going to go and take over the line here as well as he comes around that final corner. Adam Dalmont takes the win with John McHutchison in second. Roger Morton again in the arms. That's 2 out of 2 for Morton. He's making strides there. And Paul Godden wraps up second place in the arms as well. Craig Jones gets third overall in the pros, and Edward Parfitt takes a podium in race 2. Good job there, boy. Gets a 3rd place in race 2. That would do him a world of good because he's beaten David Ayres and Andy Littler, who are in front of him in the standings there as well. BDLV, me and Andy will be there. Just hope we put fuel in, unlike Spa. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this one, I think. Side by side in Brands Hatch, I think 3 cars might be a little bit too much, right? I think GT4s, TCRs and Clios might be a little bit overdoing it there, as well as I think Jack Andrews just completely missed the point of what was going on there. So I think having 2 classes might be a little bit better at Brands Hatch GP. I've got a funny feeling 3 might be a little bit too much there. But let's bring you up the results of this consolidation here as well. Here are the results. Adam Dalmont is your winner by 7 seconds over John McHutchison. Then we've got John McHutchison second. Roger Morton wraps up the AMS in third overall. Craig Jones 4th. Paul Godden 5th. Kyle Jacklet, Carl Hardy 6th and 7th. Edward Parfitt in 8th. Pete Newman 9th. Mark Draper will be in 10th. So Newman will be ahead of Dalmont for the next race. David Ayres in 11th. Andy Littler 12th. Jack Andrews 13th. Sir Alan Toome 14th. Adam McNally is going to be on pole. And then I believe Charles Kellerman and Lee Dima, unfortunately, are not here at the moment. So there you go. Or is it Asda? Whack that on a t-shirt. I will do, mate. I've been playing with t-shirt designs all day, you know, and also multiple other things. So, you know, pay attention to the merch store that will be up a little bit later as well, because there's some Not Gonna Lie merch going up as well. In fact, we've had to give Not Gonna Lie its own category here. So on the merch store, because there was so much that people were coming up with.
Fair enough.
I know, thanks.
No, that's pretty cool.
It's Not Gonna Lie, it's pretty cool. See? That could go on a t-shirt. So,
That's a little bit far-fetched.
Mm.
I think we should get a Silly Billy t-shirt.
There is. It says, what does it actually say? There's two t-shirts made at the moment. And a hat. The beanie hat says, Not Gonna Lie, it's bloody cold. There. So there we go on that one. The one of the t-shirts that will be coming a little bit later on, it says, Not Gonna Lie, my Simrig is my real soulmate, but don't tell the missus. Nice, I know. And then the other one says, Not gonna lie, if the missus knew the true cost of my rig, I would be here. And there's a picture of a gravestone underneath. So,
Fair enough.
There we go. So yeah, so they'll all be out a little bit later on as well. So pay attention to www.jpbbroadcasting.com/merch, and you will see them popping up a little bit later. Oh, let me take a look at it later. Dude, your website is so professional. Thank you very much. I've got to thank Tom Weston for that as well. He has been helping me out on that as well. Austin, pay attention in about an hour's time after the race, all right? Because we did have it all up there, and then there was an issue, and we had to take it all back down again. But we will get it back up as the evening goes on, all right? So bear with us. We will be getting it up there as well. Is there a Don't Be a Silly Billy Zach t-shirt? Oh, Zach! Silly
What?
Billy.
I literally suggested that about 5 minutes ago.
No, you didn't say a Silly Billy t-shirt. Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, all right. I'll give Phil credit, though, because Phil said it first in YouTube chat. Whatever. Silly Billy. An oopsie daisy.
Yeah, get like a picture of a daisy.
Yeah. There's so many t-shirts we could have, guys. I know general people do serious merch and JPB merch and all that, and I didn't want that. I think, to be honest, that would be boring. I wouldn't buy any of my stuff if it just had my logo on it, to be honest, and nothing that I say or nothing that Zach says or anything else. So I'm not going to have all that. All the merch we're doing is going to be a bit of fun as well. There's a t-shirt going up that has my logo on the front, and then on the back it has "Sim racing is more than a hobby, it's a passion" written underneath as well. So that will be up later. There's a beanie hat up there. There's a flat cap up there. Now, you'll love the flat cap if you know me. It says the flat cap that's going up, well, a trucker cap apparently it's called. The trucker cap says blue flags mean one thing: move. So there you go. That's going up.
You should get one. Where the logo usually goes, like in the top right, you should just have 3 trophies and call it Craig Jones.
Oh, Zach Sweeney, stop it. You got your nails out tonight, young sir, ain't you?
And then you can put like that red circle with a line in it.
Yeah. But there's lots of different things going to go up there as well. We've talked about driver-related products as well with cups. There's a couple of cups up there, actually, as well. Cups will be up later on once more. My lovely good wife has designed a Sim Racing 24/7 refill with coffee, please mug. That looks quite cool. That will be up later. And then there's a cup that says, "Not gonna lie, the wife believes my rig cost me £500. So that also will be up a bit later. So we've had a bit of fun with it, guys, as well. We haven't taken it too seriously. They are a little bit of a fun for everybody to get involved with. But let's bring you up the grid for race 3. Anna McNally is on pole, Sir Alan Toon second, Jack Andrews third, Andy Littler fourth, David Ayres in fifth, Sir Four Rams in the first 5, Mark Draper in 6th, Pete Newman 7th, Edward Parfitt 8th, Carl Hardy 9th, Carl Jacklett 10th, Paul Godden 11th, Craig Jones 12th, Roger Morton 13th, John McCutcheon 14th, Adam Dalmont 15th, Charles Kellerman 16th, and Lee Deemer in 17th, who hasn't been here all evening. I don't think he's going to be here for the last race. And same with Charles Kellerman. He had a bit of an incident in race 1, and unfortunately may have looked like he possibly retired there as well. So yeah, bear with us on the merch store. It will be up about an hour after, so yeah, we'll get that up. But let's get this third race done and dusted for the evening here as well. We've got 3, 4. Whoa! Jack Andrews jumping the start absolutely massively. Not going to lie for Jack Andrews. That would be a definite penalty incoming, I think, there, Zach, as Anna McNally makes a break with David Ayres and Andy Littler with Mark Draper as well, with Pete Newman sitting in 6th now. He's going to make his move up the inside of Draper. He is going to have that room. He's got the rear gunner of Carl Hardy. Can Hardy stop the likes of Craig Jones and Adam Dalmont? Oh, where's Johnny Ots going? Whoa! How did you end up there, dear sir? Oh, Craig Jones sent John McCutcheon off into the shadow realm. Did Craig Jones there? That was contact, unfortunately, for Craig Jones there as well. So, unfortunately for Craig Jones, one of the admin of the league has sent John McCutcheon off into a different dimension. But they're all battling away here as well now, Zach, as well. I would say a clean start, but it's a little bit messy again at the beginning.
Well, Jack Andrews is leading. I wonder how he's done that. Yeah, I don't know.
He won't be leading after lap 2, mate. He has to go
No,
in.
he won't be.
He has to. He's in now. That couldn't have been more of an obvious jump start, even if he wanted to.
I don't get how other people didn't, because obviously, as a driver being sat on the grid, your button, whether you've got a clutch or you're just sat in neutral and revving or whatever, your response and your reflex is to just go the first thing you see that changes, because in your head that's going to be the lights. You don't imagine anyone else to move or whatever. So with your fingers being, say, on the paddle shifter or holding the clutch in, you see something change and you let it go. There is Pete Newman, by the way, going on the inside of Andy Littler for P3. And he's done that. But the moment you see something change, you just let go and you react, because you need to be as quick as possible. So obviously for Jack Andrews, whatever it was that distracted him, could be his door opening or whatever, and he's just, he's just gone. I'm surprised it didn't cause a chain reaction of jump starts, because everyone around him would have seen him move, and if he moves, then everyone else is like, oh, well, he's moved, and that it's a subconscious thing. He's moved, so I must move, so they all let go. So many times where that happens, where you just have that, that tunnel vision to just let go. I'm surprised he was the only one that jump started, but I suppose thankfully he was. Just a little bit of an oopsie-daisy moment, unfortunately, for Jack Andrews, and Adam Dalmont is pursuing his role towards the front as well. I mean, already up 8 places onto the end of lap 2. That is impressive, and as it stands, I mean, he could well be able to get himself maybe into 4th ahead of Andy Littler in the coming laps. They're all lined up for him, and then he's
Pete Newman's
a million miles away from Pete Newman. So points in the favour of Dalmont.
They are at the moment. I'll do some quick maths in the process here. Hardy with Littler. He's going to make a move. Draper's on the defensive here, going down into turn 3. Draper's on the left-hand side. Dalmont is already through, though, mind you. Dalmont's moved up another one. Adam McNally is off the side of the circuit. Unfortunately, he's lost the lead. The arm of David Ayres is taking that lead now as well. Is he going to be the first AM overall victor? But he has got this man behind him. It's going to be very tough for David Ayres here. I don't know if he's going to hang on, I've got to be honest, because this man is also coming who's going to want to try and clear these guys as well and get onto the back. So let's see what happens here once more within this race. Dalmont and Carl Hardy and Littler and Adam McNally are all not very fast but far apart. And let's see what happened to Adam McNally here. Was this all on his own? It was. He runs wide, goes off the side of the circuit. Did he avoid the barrier? He did. So great driving from Adam McNally there, because there would have been other people who would have floored that to try to get it back on track. But Carl Hardy, Andy Littler scrapping it out again here.
Yeah, and no complaints from me. Of course, we've got Pete Newman fighting away with Ayres for the win. Of course, the 2 championship leaders across the AM and the pros coming together on track, which is quite a picturesque moment in fairness. But let's see what David Ayres can do against the other champion in the form of Pete Newman. Carl Hardy under pressure as Adam Dalmont is putting a little bit of pressure on. Let's see what the rear gunner can do for Pure Sims. Is, of course, Carl Hardy's job is to delay Dalmont for as long as possible if he can, and minimise the points that the next-gen car is going to be scoring. Looking for a gap, though, is Dalmont. There's just no way through for now. I think Dalmont's going to be looking to use Andy Littler as much as he can in this battle. As soon as he sees a gap, he's got to fill it.
Yeah, he definitely has. He definitely has. The problem is as well, Littler on that run into turn 4 takes that very wide entry into 4. That invokes people to go and stick their nose up the inside, and Hardy nearly did it on that last one. The problem is for Littler is he's already caused him a problem in race 2 with Draper. So I would have thought he might have tried to work on changing that line for Andy Littler, as there's a big old puff of smoke from Adam McNally in front of us there. I thought he might have had a go at changing that line, and it didn't look like he did in the last time, and I'm a bit worried that if he doesn't change that line, he could be in the same place and same situation he was in last time. Now we'll have a look on board with Carl Hardy. Littler's going to go and take the inside. Now, if he can make it to 3 where he is, you'll see Littler's line. He runs a very wide line, which invokes people. It's almost like teasing. It's almost like feeding, trying to give a carrot to a donkey and then not actually feeding it. If you have a look, he then goes to the right, so he invokes that inside line. Do you see what I mean? He didn't do it as much as he had done throughout the rest of the race, but he did it a little bit there, which almost resulted in contact with Hardy. So maybe Littler's a master of his own downfall at the moment and needs to adjust that line in 6, because otherwise he's going to keep having these dives going on. And you can see it there again, Zach, on the turn 8 of Thunder Valley. He's invoked that long wide outside line, which has invoked Hardy to have a go, and now Dalmont. So maybe Littler's, as I say, a master of his own undoing.
Yeah, potentially so. And there was the move side by side between the two of them. Adam Dalmont on the inside. It's, of course, Carl Hardy that keeps his foot in through the kink, gives him the inside, coming onto the pitch straight. Andy Littler trying to stay ahead as well, if he can. But Carl Hardy might be able to mount an attack. Adam Dalmont, this time, is going to be on the outside through turn 1, but he gives him the inside for 2. He keeps his foot and he's got the overlap. Is there going to be contact? No, there's not. The gap is then filled. Late on the brakes and there's contact, and Andy Littler is sent round backwards off the road. Carl Hardy off, and also Mark Draper in the background as well. Dalmont, I've got to say, that was a little bit clumsy.
I've got to go with that as well. Adam Dalmont comes in, he just forces the gap. Do you know what's a shame? It's the fact that this situation keeps happening. And for Carl Hardy, it is tough, but I don't really feel you need me to tell you what was there, but it was there. Which obviously, I'm not saying they wouldn't have been contact, because clearly there would have been, but it might have been not as substantial if that wasn't there. Do you get what I mean? I think you understand where I'm going with that. But unfortunately, it is, and now Edward Parfitt is a cork in a bottle here, with Paul Godden climbing all over the back of him here. He's got to be looking at trying to see what he's going to be able to do defensively once more as Edward, as he goes into turn 1. Come and let it run out wide. Take the inside for the next corner. You're going to win.
He held it, nearly. I love how everyone just stops, waits, and then goes again.
They're so gentlemanly, aren't they?
They're just like, oh, let's just stop for a minute, guys. Let's let them get out of the way. Then we'll go.
Well, that's better than, I think that's better than watching them all career into him, Zach.
Well, not from my perspective.
Yeah, you can't.
I'd have enjoyed it, but
Now this is where the question's going to lie here.
No
he
space.
moved. Edward moved. Yeah, he did.
You're about
move.
to come screaming to his defence, and then you saw him.
Dude, I can't defend him, and he knows I don't defend him when he makes a mistake.
You can't defend on track.
He defends him. If he's done a mistake, I will call him out, and he comes down and sees me at the end, and I'll go, "Really, bud? You closed the door on him. You were late. You should have let it drift out coming out turn 1." He knows what he should have done. And that's the thing, when he's learning every single week, and every single week we have a chat after the race, and I tell him what he's done. You know, don't get me wrong, Zach, I'm not no expert, right? Not gonna lie, I'm not an expert, but I know how people should race, and we both do. You're only a young lad, you know, you could probably tell some of these new drivers who come in at the age of 40 how to drive a race. You know, we've seen laps and laps and laps. I you know, dread to think how many laps I've watched of racing. We know how they should race, and he made a mistake. His action coming out of turn 1, he should have opened up that steering as soon as he come out of one and just let his car come over automatically. Not keep it to the left-hand side and pull right. And I'll tell him that. And I'm his biggest criticism, because he knows at the end of the day when he does come down, he'll say to me, "Dad," and I'll go, "Well, not being rude there, mate, but, you know, you didn't let it drift out." That's it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think it's good. I quite like the little dynamic that you two have got with the racing side of things. But anyway, we'll focus our attention on this, because David Ayres has put up a really good fight with Pete Newman for quite some time. He's been jostling for position. Pete Newman goes for the move once again. They've also got Adam McNally to contend with as well. Outside line for Pete Newman going into the carousel. It'll give him the inside for the kink if he's able to have the agility the long way round. He is. McNally now onto the back of Ayres. Let's see if McNally can mount a challenge for Pete Newman. I mean, now he's been able to be set free for the final half of this race. It might be difficult, but Dalmont there in 4th could well get a podium and minimise the gap to Newman. Also Hardy and Morton fighting for 5th. So I have to say, Roger Morton, David Ayres, they've both had amazing evenings.
Yeah, they definitely has. They definitely have. It's been a stellar run from both of these guys as well. Obviously, we're a bit short on the field, but I'm not going to take that away from them because, to be honest, Roger Morton and David Ayres do a stellar job even when there is a full grid. And David Ayres, as we know, you would probably put at times your house on him to finish the race. My fear isn't the fact of who is in front of David Ayres and Adam McNally. It's the person here who is behind. Mr. Adam Dalmont is naturally quick here. He runs curves, he runs lines, he puts that car where other people won't want to even go. Doesn't invoke a slowdown. He manages to stay within the track limits, but he does it so well. He nails it lap after lap after lap, and he does an absolute stellar job. So for Adam Dalmont, he is in a good position with points gains at the moment. As you say, going into this third race, I believe he was +9 here as well. So at the moment, Newman's going to score a 50. And Dalmont, who is going to be sitting in third, is going to score a 40. So that actually might put him -1 back. He does need to jump McNally if he can here to at least gain 4 points on Pete Newman throughout this evening of racing. Whoa!
Ooh, boys. Now there goes Dalmont on the inside into second, which is huge because it was first. So Dalmont has 2 seconds and a win. Newman has, well, what will be 2 wins and then a 14th. So huge points gains for Dalmont. Let's have a look as to what's happened. You can see McNally just doink in a bit. David Ayres. Thankfully there's tarmac there, so he didn't lose too much time, but doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, it does as well, but for Dalmont, he's now just got to go and try and get a hold of Pete Newman for Craig Jones. He's trying to hang back from Mark Draper here. Phil across the pond. There goes that man with the big net again. Yes, I think we all saw that. I think Andy should realise he's in a different class to the pros. Having said that, the incident wasn't his fault, apart from inviting dives all the time. And that's what we said, Jason, and I think that was what we're saying. For Andy Littler, he invokes a lot of his own downfall by not closing the door off or not making a definitive, like he does it there as well. And the thing is, that could invoke somebody to jump in. Now we'll stay around this area because I want to see if he's going to do it again in 6. And if he does do it again, he is invoking that dive up the inside. And that's the problem he has got. He needs to really tighten up or make a general decision whether or not he's going to go in and go really tight or whether or not he's going to go wide. The trouble is, it brings into that V, that vortex of terror, that vortex of danger that does invoke people to make dives up the inside. And yes, I agree with you, Jason, and I do fully agree. That is his problem, isn't it, Zach? He needs to decide on a line, stick to it, tighten it up, because otherwise he's going to get dives every single lap, for instance. Well, we've only got 6 to go, but watch him again. Here, look, the door's open. If Craig Jones was closer, he would have taken a snap at him.
Yeah, probably. But unfortunately, he's not quite been close enough. And Andy Littler, I mean, at the end of the day, he's racing his own race. He's going as quick as he can. Why should he sort of slow himself down as such to allow the pros through? He's not doing anything erratic. He's not doing anything to deliberately slow them down or get in their way. He is just driving. And driving as quick as he can. Maybe, yeah, sure, he could save some of the aggro and let these guys go. But why should he? He's not obliged to turn over and get his belly tickled. If Craig Jones wants that place, he should overtake him. Simple enough for a man of his caliber. Surely with 3 trophies, you'd imagine he can get one for overtaking as well. But that's not quite been the case. So fair play to Andy Littler. What it has done is allow Mark Draper to maybe have a little bit of a look. But with only 5 minutes left to go in this race, I mean, I don't really see any particular reason why Andy Littler should let him go.
I'm not saying he needs to let them go. I'm not saying that. But to avoid the incident with Mark Draper that he had. Now, Mark definitely had a definitive amount of overlap. Mark's front right was almost on Andy Draper, Littler's rear. So, you know, for Draper, that's fine. Like, if you had a look at Draper now, look at the line from Littler. You see, he takes that very wide V. And I can guarantee, and I'm going to put it out there now, right? I haven't got a crystal ball. This is live racing. If Mark Draper gets the opportunity in 6, 2 things are going to happen. He's either going to make it past or Andy Littler's going to spin. And I can guarantee it's going to be one or the other because both of these drivers should theoretically make a dive up the inside of Littler there. And he needs to shut that door. He needs to either tighten it up or he needs to let it run and take the wide line, because at the moment he's invoking a collision, and that's the problem. And Roger Morton and Carl Hardy are nose to tail here.
They are. This is going to be spicy. Roger Morton has driven so well over the course of this evening, and he's going to make a mighty pro when he gets to that point in the near future. I mean, he's fighting with Carl Hardy, who's teammates with Pete Newman. Like, that is mega. And on his day, I would back him maybe for an overall podium and maybe even overall win more than anything. You can see in the background there, Mark Draper fighting with Craig Jones there side by side. So no changes between these guys into turn 4, but Mark Draper picking his way past Craig Jones for now. Jones obviously on the outside. The SRL machine of Draper picks his way into 8th place and is now going to have his stab at Andy Littler for 7th. So just try and accelerate and run it wide. That seems to be the consensus with a lot of these sends here, is flooring it earlier to run wider to just keep your footing on the inside going to the next corner. We see it from 1 to 2, from 4 to 5, nearly there from 6 to 7. You can just floor it, run wide, take the inside, and jobs are good. And it's similar to a corner. I don't know if anyone has raced at Fullbeck, the karting circuit.
Yeah. I've been there.
Just floor it through a left. You can just floor it through the left-hander and then into the hairpin at the back end of the circuit. It's exactly that. You just take one corner faster, compromise the next one, but you're on the inside line. You've got the overlap. You've got the speed. You don't really care about overall lap time at that point. You just care about getting the inside line, which is why these guys are doing such a good job of it, because it works. It's a good tactic. There goes Craig Jones on the inside of Andy Littler, picks his way past after Draper had just done it on him.
Jones!
But then into turn 2. Oh, ouch. Silence is deafening.
He did an Edward.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I think he was trying to go for the move on Draper, obviously forgetting there's another car there.
He did an Edward. Wants to close the door late, or went to make a move, whichever way he wants to do it. He didn't do it definingly enough, and that's the problem. You know, now we've got Pete Newman, I believe. No, I don't think it's going to be the last lap this time around, I don't think. I've got a funny feeling there's going to be one more here. Let's jump on board with David Ayres just to see if Barney's having a wave. He's not, he's stood back this time. So there's going to be one more lap here, and Newman is going to take that victory. Now, I've got Newman on 135 points. I've got Dalman on 138 points. Oh. So Dalmont did gain 3 points here. Somehow, partly because Newman's got 2 wins and Dalmont's got 2 seconds. I'm going to presume if they finish where they are, of course. So Dalmont's only gained +3, but +3 is better than not having any, as Carl Hardy and Roger Morton come round to nearly complete this race here as well. Dalmont is not making inroads on Newman, unfortunately. But here it looks like Pete Newman has wrapped it up. But that's one of the things, I think, given that reverse grid of where Newman was. Yes, he had a bad race, and yes, he did drop down the order, but it puts him on the near enough the front for the next one. So it swings in roundabouts, doesn't it? But Dalmont made the most of the opportunity he had, and he had to make the most of the opportunity to be able to currently succeed in what he's doing. And he did a stellar job. Don't get me wrong, proud of Dalmont. Dalmont's quick, and he knows it as well. He knows he's quick. He knows he's fast. Yeah, it was a little bit of a questionable incident that happened. Don't get me wrong. And I'm sure that people might have a chat about it. But I think at the end of the day, this result probably isn't far off where they should be.
No, definitely not. It's truly telling of them. And we are on to the final lap. Roger Morton on the back of Carl Hardy. I mean, he's been teasing with him. And I honestly, I've only got good things to say about Roger Morton this evening. Like, he's not put a foot wrong. He's been so quick. And it's mega. Really impressive performance. Pete Newman versus Dalmont. Of course, that's going to be one to watch into technically the final 3 rounds as we've got next week. And then the replays of the 2 rounds at Phillip Island and, of course, at Zolder. So still plenty of racing. Still 12 races left. No, hang on. No, that's not maths. Still 9 races left. There we go. Quick maths. I know what I'm doing. I was just testing you, which is a lot of points on offer. Pete Newman, 2 wins today. but that race 2 has let him down, and it's allowed Dalmont to reel himself back into championship contention.
Yeah, as Pete Newman is going to come over the line. He is going to take this victory. He is going to take the win here as well. David Ayres is going to get first in the AMS. That's what he needs to do. Dalmont comes over the line. So does McNally there as well. So McNally finishes it off. Here comes David Ayres. He's going to take the win in the AMS. He had to. Hardy did not lose a place to Roger Morton, who comes over in second place. And Andy Littler will hang on to third in the AMS there. I believe this could be with Paul Godden and Edward Parfitt behind him. So it's all a little bit up in the arms, but it is Newman, Dalmont, McNally, and here comes Littler for that third place in the AMS. Great racing as always from these guys as well. And well done to Paul Godden as he comes over the line, and we're just waiting for Edward. He's just gone up there, as you saw in the top of the screen, so will be with us on the there we go, brief little moment as he disappears in the process. Our wonderful internet down here in the southwest, of course. Right, let's bring you up the results of this race here in race 3. Pete Newman is your winner with Adam Dalmont in second, Adam McNally in third. That's your 1, 2, 3 in your pros. In the AMS, David Ayres has taken the victory with Carl Hardy in fifth. Roger Morton there in second in the AMS. Mark Draper in the middle. Andy Littler third in the AMS. That's your 1, 2, 3 in the AMS. Then you got Godden, Parfitt, Jones, Andrews, McHutchison, 2, Jack Litt, Kellerman and Dean who was not here tonight as well. We've got the wonderful Craig Jones waiting in the interview booth with us, the man who took third in race 2 in the pros and then was involved in a couple of collisions in race 3 and a so-called half and half race 1. But let's welcome in Mr. Jones into the booth. Good evening, Mr. Jones. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. When you say it like that, it sounds like a bad evening.
Well, it ain't my fault. I weren't driving.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was that. But you know me, I'd like to turn up. As long as I'm in a fight with someone, I'm happy. I'm not too fussed about where I come.
All right, where do you? Okay, let me just cut you off there. 2 incidents in race 3. Where do you stand on them? Because obviously one was John McHutchison, one was Andy Littler. What's the situation from your point of view?
So I can't comment on the first one because I forgot to check it before I cancelled off the session there. But from the car, it felt like that there was enough room, and I couldn't honestly comment. I'd have to look at it from a different angle, which I always say, any incident, you can't call it until you've looked at the replay. So that I can't. I'm not going to say any more on. All
right. Well, if you pop up that screen share there, you'll have a look.
Oh, okay, go on then. It's not letting me.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why that is. We are just looking at it now. We've got you on the outside of turn 1. John McHutchison goes on the inside. We'll look at your right front here. Now, obviously, we're on the right front of your car. There is John McHutchison on the inside in that Team Radline Clio. Coming out of turn 1, Hutch is on the grass. You get a little bit too close for comfort on the grass as well. Hutch comes over, and I believe your left front makes contact with him there.
Well, he shouldn't have had his car there then, should he?
I don't remember the Scotsman ever being Harry Potter, Mr. Jones. But anyway.
Like I said, I haven't seen it. If it is my fault, you know me, I always put my hands up and I say, sorry, that's on me. But like I said, I can't see what you're sharing. So.
All right, okay. Well, anyway, how was your evening overall from your perspective?
It was all right, yeah. Nothing amazing. Race 2, I had a good opportunity there to get a good result, and happy with fourth. It would have been nice if it was third, but Roger caught me by surprise, I had to do some evasive driving to avoid a bit of contact, and then I got tangled up in the wire for my headset. So yeah, that was a double whammy, but lucky enough there was a bit of a gap to keep ahead of everyone else. That was quite good. But no, it was good all round in terms of the fights that I was in. And yeah, I was quite happy again. Found my glued to Paul Godden for quite a bit of tonight, and it's always a pleasure racing next to him. It's always a fair battle and a good fight. So yeah, I'm going away smiling.
Awesome stuff. Well, Greg, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to having a chat with you, I'm sure, shortly. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Just my teammates as normal. Yeah, shout out to them. Result Clothing. Yeah, you guys for your fantastic, wonderful commentary, and I'm sure Zach's been very professional tonight and behaved himself.
He has done, yes.
Great.
He's been very
Wish
good.
for something more realistic, like a dragon.
Right, I swear, you two are like
What
every time
did you say?
he said, wish for something more realistic, like a dragon. So there we go. Right.
I don't even know what that means.
Basically, him being nice is a little bit unrealistic. So there we go. The fact I've had to explain it to you makes it even worse. But Craig, listen, I need to get on and interview and have a chat with Roger Morton. Stay in the interview booth. I'll have a chat with you after this. But for now, bud, take care and I'll speak to you in a minute.
Missing you already.
I'm sure you are. All right, let's have a chat with one Mr. Roger Morton. 2 victories in the AMs and a second place. He said he was not going to give up on the AM Championship. He put himself about tonight. He didn't roll over. He's done an absolute stellar job here as well with 2 wins and a second. Gives him a nice little points haul over David Ayres. But let's see how he feels about his evening this evening. Good evening to you, Mr. Morton.
Hello, how are we?
I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, tell you what, it's getting hard. Dave's just consistent, and it's just that last race, I just couldn't get him. I just want there.
Yeah.
Bloody pro drivers keep getting it way.
Well, we can't just have you two on the track, you know.
Why not?
Because it would be a very Lightning McQueen-esque race, and it could be quite.
To be fair, some of the, I tell you what, Paul's starting to get quick as well. I've noticed.
Yeah, they're all getting quicker.
Yeah, everyone. That last race where all of us were just sort of together, and I was at the back, and I'm like, I ain't been at the back for ages, and I just couldn't get. I was really struggling to get past anybody, and it was. To be fair, this track eats tires. It really does eat tires. So we're just like trying to hang on as long as you can before pushing too hard. It was when Carl passed me, I just sort of missed, and I needed to try to chase him down and pass him, but I just didn't have enough at end.
Yeah, but not, look, in conjunction to some people's nights, mate, 2 wins and a second, that's a nice little 144-point gain there. That ain't a bad evening at all, is it?
3 wins would have been better, but hey, yeah, no, it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the championship. I just wish I did that extra round. I missed out on too many rounds, but
well, look, you keep doing what you're doing, bud. You see how it comes out, will you?
We're pushing hard as we can. I really am. I'm trying to keep him on edge.
Well,
definitely.
You've impressed Mr. Zach Sweeney here this evening, who says you're doing an outstanding, stellar job here, Mr. Morton.
Oh, thank you, Zach.
It's all right, mate.
And he also, said he can't wait for you to be a pro next season.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind mingling with these pro drivers, to be fair. Some of them would slow you down as well, so... yeah.
I'm not sure you're supposed to say that out loud, mate, to be honest, but...
Can we have, like, Pete and Adam on, like, Super Pro, though? Because they're just out of the different league altogether.
Well, if we can get some more Super Pros in, then maybe we could do a free class race. You know what I mean? Was it... well, we got a pro and am. See? That could work.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Well done, buddy. Anyway, it gives you a nice haul of points. Be interested to see how you come out after this race to see where you are in the points there. But anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Oh, the team, Result Clothing, all of them. They're absolutely awesome. You guys are putting on a good show once again. This is the best league that I've ever raced in. I really am enjoying this one. Really am. It's been really good, and thanks for you guys for putting on a good broadcast as well.
Awesome, mate. Well, thank you so much, Roger, and look forward to seeing you next week at Sebring.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Take care. Right, and the third and final evening is with Mr. Paul Godden there. He got a third in race 1. He got a second in class in race 2. Just missed. Oh,
James, you got one guy, mate.
Oh, okay. Let's try this one again here. We've got Mr. Paul Godden in the chat finally. He got third in race 1. He's got second in race 2 here, and he finished fourth in class in race 3. Paul, welcome into the booth there, sir. How are you?
Yeah, evening, James. I'm good, thanks.
Good. I just pulled Roger Morton in and gave him your intro, and he was like, James, it's me. I was like,
oh, did he?
Yeah, all right, mate. Sorry. Listen, that ain't a bad evening, is it?
No, it was a good evening in the end. It was. I set my mini goals as I always do, and I really wanted to get a reverse grid for race 1 because I always miss out on it, and I managed to do it by one place. And I didn't know I had wheel damage from lap 1, so I was just like, oh, just please not everyone go past cleanly. And then I just got in a little gap, kept it, and then Craig then come up behind me, and I thought, oh, is Craig gonna try and race us, or we're going to lose more time? But he had wheel damage as well, so we were just going around together, just enjoying race 1 really, and managed to get the reverse grid. And then race 2 started off really well, and then unfortunately I got turned into the hairpin by Carl after he got coming together with, I think it was David. And then I thought, oh, that's it, game over. And then all of a sudden the road just opened up because the other cars crashed, and I was like, oh, I'm still 5th. So I just thought I'll keep my nose clean, see how I get on. And I thought I've got really bad rear damage. It was weird. The car was sliding for about 2 laps. I don't think you saw it at all, but it was like the tyres overheated from where I spun, but they just wouldn't go back to normal. I thought I had damage. But I was just in a bit of a no man's land with my pace. So because of the incidents behind, no one really caught me. So I was like, well, just keep it clean, and 5th's a good position. And then race 3, I was like, it's going to be very, very hard to overtake around here. I just thought, right, try and get a top 10 finish, and I was enjoying it, running around. And then unfortunately, you and your boy come together out of turn 1. I've watched it back a few times, and I can't really work out if it was me being too aggressive or I felt first he come across a bit. But
yeah, that's what I said.
It was. Yeah, it's very similar to the incident we've had with him before. He gives you a gap, and then it
closes.
It opens up, and it disappears really quick, and you've already committed, and you're like trying to go as best you can, but unfortunately these things turn around so quick. Which is a shame, because I think me and him would have had a really good battle, because I did notice with Edward, halfway through the race, his pace really dropped off, both race 1 and race 2, and I was like, oh, I didn't know if it was he was dropping off or the car was. So I was like, right, if I can get to the 10 or 12 minutes with Edward, just enjoying ourselves, like maybe 7th position, he will drop back a bit, give us a bit of breathing space, and I can then hopefully get a 3rd place. That was what I was aiming for, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But it's one of them things. But I think overall the evening was good. Racing was pretty good around here. Very hard to overtake as can be, but yeah, overall it's good. A good evening.
Yeah, it was. We just watched that incident back. Basically, as far as I was concerned, Paul, he should have, if he was going to definitive drift out on you, he should have done it straight off turn 1. He left it late, he kept to the inside, and then you basically went for a gap, and then he come over. So I'll have word with him. I'll tell him it was his fault as well. He loves me when I turn around and assess it with him. But yeah, overall, though, yeah, it was. Yeah, he come over. He literally come over on you, bud. So don't worry too much about that there as well, Paul. But listen, great evening overall. Be interested to see where the standings and points put you there on that one. But for now, though, Paul, anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Just all the drivers again. No, we didn't have a full grid tonight, probably because it was half term in a lot of the country. But yeah, the drivers are making this such a great series, and all the drivers I talked to after the race or during the week are all absolutely loving it and saying it's the best racing they've ever had on iRacing, which is just credit to the series really, and yourself for putting it on with your team. So it's really great fun to be part of. And also I'd like to say good shout out to Edward as well, because his driving's getting really, really good this season, and he's like really pushing us for the 3rd place, and I think he's going to be one to watch next season, I think. So just iron out a few little mistakes he makes, and he's going to be right up there.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Paul. Thanks so much for kind words there, buddy. And I look forward to catching up with you next week in Sebring.
Yeah, cheers, James.
Take care, mate. So there you go, guys, as well. The best league on iRacing, the best racing they've had. And if you want to get involved, you can. Down in the Discord below, the JPB League's Discord is down there for you if you want to jump in. As I say, we've got the BDLV event coming up on the 26th of November. We've got, obviously, TCRs are running, GT4s are running, and Clios are running, but most of them are coming towards the end. So you might want to hold on till the following season, unless you want to come in and have a go and see how you get on. But Zach, another great evening of racing here as well. Stellar job. Job done.
Yeah, bring it on. I mean, we're going to the final round next week, but not really. We've still got, obviously, the 2 after that to do. But what would have been the final round, looking forward to it, of course, as always. Again, the only good thing about Mondays is the Clio Cup. So, yeah, bring it on. I think we've got so much in store, obviously. The AMs being spicy, Roger Morton, David Ayres mixing themselves up against the big boys. And then also Dalmont versus Newman. That is going to be one to watch. I mean, Dalmont's been given a lifeline with Zolder being discounted. He didn't waste it today, which was important.
Yeah, it was. And the thing is for him is that Pete got a lifeline at Phillip Island as well, where the other one was, where there was that error with the incident count. So both of them have taken double wins, and both of them have had a lifeline on each other there as well. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Austin Draper, Phil across the pond, Jason Morris, Ria, Darryl Wright, Phil across the pond as always, Tom Weston for jumping in a little bit earlier on as well. Keep an eye on the JPB Broadcasting website, guys. Give me about an hour, and then the merch should be back up online once we've sorted out all the issues also, but if not, check tomorrow morning. But for now, guys, from myself up here in the booth, I've been James Parfitt alongside Zach Sweeney, and as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.